Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, so what do we have for you on today's episode? We have for you a sign of the times. This is a woman at the end of her tether, at the end of the rope, who has called into a radio station. Now, this is in my home country, Britain, so I know like 60% of my viewers are from the United States, so stick with me because this affects all of us, because it's about the Rona shutdowns, and it's getting bad for people. So I just want you to listen to this woman's story, and you will really understand how some people are starting to struggle. This poor woman just had to, the business has shut down. She's even had to sell her family jewellery, the family heirlooms, to try and make ends meet, which isn't happening. And now she's forced to live off of homemade soup, like in the North Korea. Okay? It's sad. It's sad that it's come to this, really. The cure is starting to be worse than the illness. And a lot of people has warned about this. So let's get into this video. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Share this video around. There's a little share button down there. Only takes a couple of seconds. We need it now more than ever because independent commentary is being throttled big time by YouTube, and my growth has kind of stopped. So I need you to help me spread the good word, the commentary gospel. Okay, let's go. Right, so let's listen to what this poor woman's got to say, and she has got a regional accent. There's a lot of regional accents here in Britain, so if I think she says something that my American viewers might find too hard to say, I will give you a translation.
Or situation with your son. Do you blame his death on lockdown?
To a large extent, yes.
Yeah.
And I also totally blame the fact that I've had to sell my car, that my kiddies and my son's kiddies have so little. I mean, we live on home.
What she just said there is the kiddies have so little. In other words, the children are going without. They've got nothing, really. And we live in a materialistic world.
Made soup. It sounds crazy, but we do. I'll say, "Oh, come on, kids. What do you want today? Do you want turnip soup? Do you want carrot soup?" And that's how we've lived for 9 months. I've tried to keep the kids healthy. So yes, I blame those guys up there that have no concept of what it's like or what they're doing to ordinary, decent, hard-working people. 62. Like I've worked my whole life.
And you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this,
Irene.
And that's the thing. She's worked her whole life just to get by. She lives in Durham. Durham is in the northeast. Britain, England, northeast of England. It's a former industrial area. Before we joined the European Union, it was where all our industry, shipbuilding was. When we joined the European Union, what was then the common markets, they always intended to become the European Union. The outsourcing of manufacturing jobs happened, the coal mines were shut down, and the place where she comes from suffered a lot. The northeast of England suffered a lot. It is desperately poor. It is, in comparison to the Appalachian Trail in America, only the Appalachian Trail is rural. Durham, imagine an Appalachian Trail inside New York. It's a concrete Appalachian Trail. That's where she comes from, the area that they come from, northeast England, because they outsourced all the jobs. This is why we wanted our own Donald Trump in Nigel Farage, but the British establishment were never going to let that happen. Nigel Farage, the closest time he ever came to victory was in 2015 in the snap general election. We had here the Conservative Party, who are Sinos, which are like your Rhinos, Republicans in name only. Here they are Sinos, C-I-N-O. Conservatives in name only. They're actually blue liberals. They committed our version of electoral malpractice, we'll say, in only one seat, in only one constituency in the 2015 election. And can you guess what that constituency was? Thanet South, the one that Nigel Farage was standing in. So they beat him to the post. Even though he won, Nigel Farage won. They beat him to the post because they don't want a man of the people in office. And that's what's happening with Donald Trump right now. You know it. I certainly think I know it from what I've seen. But I'm digressing.
None of us do.
Well, look, I'm fighting for you. You know that everyone here at the station is fighting for you. And it's stories like yours, Irene, that make me even more passionate that we cannot go on like this another 6 months. Because you look at Irene, she's lost everything, really. She's lost her son. She's lost her ability to make money. She's trying to raise her son's children and unable to feed them in a way that she might like to.
So her son actually ended himself over the desperation that they're facing, because it's very bleak for a lot of people. And the powers that be, the establishment, cronies, the mainstream media, these people are still getting paid. These people are still getting... The politicians, British politicians, they're like pigs at a trough. The amount of money they get, taxpayers' money, is sickening. They don't deserve it. They've done nothing to work to earn it. And it's alright them saying, oh well, it'll continue just for another month, just for another 2 months, it'll be fine, you know, we'll get back to normal in 3 months. Well, there's a lot of people out there, working class people, I'm working class, who don't have 3 months left because of rising living prices, because of the cost of living, because rent prices have exploded in Britain due to mass never-ending migration. There's just not enough house. We can't build a house fast enough for a migrant, and we've had a migrant baby boom that comes in that needs a house. We can't. They are coming in faster than we can build houses for them. Okay, so it's just supply and demand. I'm not saying the bad people. I'm just saying it's supply and demand, and it's caused a situation where people are having to spend most of their money just to afford to live, just to have a roof over their head. So people don't have another 3 months to go. We can't wait another 3 months.
It's heartbreaking, Irene. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Well, good evening. Anyone whose heart isn't wrung in anguish for the story, well, I'm almost speechless with anger. I'm a doctor called back into service, and I cannot believe that this is happening because I'm a COVID-only service. The damage, the collateral damage that it's caused all over with ruined livelihoods and lives, people who can't get treatment. Any MP who votes for further lockdown really deserves to have his brains examined. There's been no impact analysis, whatever. How dare they even cast it?
And so, John, can I ask, when you went back, did you go back at the height of the pandemic?
I retired on March the 5th, and about 14 or 15 days later I got a letter from Her Majesty calling me back.
And are you still back now, or have they stood down the retired doctors?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm in my 90th year. I did run a fever hospital in the earliest years of life.
You're amazing.
To go to the age of 90, but I'm back at work, and I'm in anguish terribly.
Well, you're an incredible...
That's a 90-year-old doctor. He's 90. He's served this country his whole life. Served the ill his whole life. He's been called back on the, I suppose you could say orders, but on the asking of Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II. And he's lived long enough, right? He's not scared. He's 90 years old. He's beyond the quote-unquote at-risk group. He's not scared, and he's not thinking about himself. He's thinking about everyone else. You can tell by his attitude, he's lived long enough. And he's saying we have become a Rona-only health care service. You can't hyper-focus on just one thing. There are other things happening. And he said, like he said, they need the head examining. They do. It's how can people who are that simple-minded become leaders of countries? How can people that inept, that sheltered, that they just go with the flow, become politicians in government making decisions? It's wolves being led by sheep.
Incredible, man, but I hate to hear your analysis of it. So you feel like people like Irene's son, and Kim's son, Kim from Peterborough earlier, are missing out.
My city. That's my city. That's where I come from, Peterborough.
Out on the needed treatment because you think the NHS has become entirely focused on COVID. You're actually in there working within the system.
Well, I think it's been manoeuvred and manipulated into it. I'll quote Lord Sumption, who says fear has been skillfully and deliberately manipulated, used to manipulate the Parliament back into further lockdown.
And that's right, that's true. They're using fear. Fear is one of the oldest tactics in the book to control the masses. And it's why a lot of commentary channels, popular commentary channels, are being throttled. The minute people start questioning the fear narrative is the time when the fear narrative is at risk of collapsing. And they don't want that because there are people out there who, look, being low information doesn't make you low IQ. You can be a quite high IQ, but you could go to work every day, but you can be low information. And what I mean by that is you could come home from work and turn on the TV and watch CNN or MSNBC, and because you're low, not IQ, sorry, because you're low information, you think that what CNN is showing you is real. You think that what MSNBC or the BBC is showing you is real. These people are not journalists, they're propagandists. So, because these people are low information, they see what they see on CNN and think it's real. It's not real. It's a fabrication. It's a narrative, a fabricated narrative. And it is leading to dire consequences. I think Western governments did this knee-jerk reaction because of what the narrative that has been pushed by the mainstream media. And if that is the case, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's fact, it's my opinion. But if my opinion on this becomes fact, if it's demonstrated to be fact, it's about high time these propagandists were punished. Punished.
That is entirely true. The figures are utterly against it. Until now, there's been no impact analysis. What I fear tomorrow is you're going to get a further massaging of the figures to support the government policy.
Well, the cost-benefit analysis that has been released today, John, I haven't been able to read it yet, but based on all of the reports, it sounds utterly useless.
It does. And like they said, they massaged figures. People who need to massage figures have something to hide. People who need to put up boards so poll watchers can't see what's happening inside have something to hide. People who quote-unquote update the you-know-what machines one day before they're due to be turned over on the orders of a judge to be forensically examined have something to hide. People who shut down doctors who come on to video and question the narrative, and they shut them down and ban them from Facebook and social media, have something to hide. These aren't the actions of people who are secure in their narrative. These are people who want you to believe a narrative but don't want you to question a narrative, and when you do, they get very nervous, and that again shows they have something to hide. Anyway, what do you think about this? What do you think about poor Irene and the fact that she has to feed her children turnip soup? And not just her children, her son's children. Her son, who, by the way, her grown-up son, who ended himself because of the lockdown. They've lost everything, their business, everything. And she's having to look, and she's quite old, you see. She had a grown-up son. She's having to look after his children, her grandchildren. And she's got nothing but homemade turnip soup to feed them. Don't expect the British government to listen or care, because they don't. For them, as I said, it's just another 2 months, it's just another 3 months. People haven't got 3 months. Working class people haven't got that time. We want to live on our feet. And whatever happens, happens. But we want to live on our feet. That's what we want. That's what people want. That's what humans want. We want to live on our feet. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video around. It's more important now than ever that you do those things. It only takes a couple of moments, and it really helps this channel grow, because commentary is being throttled on social media in a big way. Thank you very much. Goodbye. If you enjoyed that video, if I could ask you please to subscribe to the channel, hit that little subscribe bar down below, hit the notification bell beside it, and put it on notifications to all notifications. That will just notify you when I upload. I upload videos almost every day. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you tomorrow.